Brian. Gas man, look at that. Look at the muck. Look at how wet that is.
Yeah, that's. Looks like the water
This is a
line
gas
on it.
line right here. What it?
Yeah,
No, that's a water line. That's the water line.
water line.
Yeah, that's the water line. It goes right into there.
As mucky as that is, we've got to have a water leak.
No, we don't. There's so much water that's come off this mountain right here. We got water everywhere.
Oh, that would.
So,
Yeah, that gas line's pretty.
so here's the deal, Eric. This French or this foundation drain right here. The invert of that foundation drain is the same invert as the water level was down in that dry well at the time that you found it. No, it's still much. You see that the invert of that pipe right there is the exact same elevation that the water was when we found it down there in the dry well.
But this test pit's deeper and there's not groundwater there, is that right?
The pipe that we found there is 2.9 feet deeper than this one,
And there's no
which means that there's no water there, but it's deeper than the dry well.
How are you?
Good to see
Hey,
you.
Gordon.
Good to see you.
Okay.
I'm Brian Babcock,
Brian, Eric Elison.
attorney trying to help the Selmans in this mess.
Hi, Brian.
Hello, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
How's it going?
Oh, I'd like this to be over with.
Yeah, wouldn't know.
When I got involved with it, I didn't know it was going to turn into this, but
Yeah, really.
So
I'm
what's
supposed
the,
to be retired.
so what's the issue here? I'm just,
So we've got a foundation drain here, and that presumably goes all the way around the house in a U-shaped fashion.
No, it presumably it's a good word. We have no idea where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And the interesting thing
so again,
is that the found
Dean Morris, so on behalf of the contractor.
so Rick,
From them.
Jared Rackus,
Yeah.
that's his name.
It could,
you got by
yeah.
So because of all the water we're getting inside the basement in this back corner over here,
When did that start, by the way? Do you know?
well, it was there when we opened up the floor. I'll show you the perched water level in there. It was there when we took the concrete out of the floor. It was perched in the gravel.
so it's coming
It's
groundwater.
coming underneath. It's kind of underneath the footings.
But it's groundwater, is surface water or groundwater?
Well, it was surface until it got in the ground. It has to be groundwater to get into the basement.
Springs or other thing, I don't know. I don't know if there's flows, and groundwater is a different animal than surface.
Yeah.
Surface, you can put something up here and stop it to get to there. If it's ground, it's a little different to get there. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, I think the groundwater that we're experiencing here is a result of what was surface water making its way into
So
the
if you
ground.
stop the surface, then you wouldn't have a problem.
Perhaps.
That's what I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
Uh,
The invert of that pipe right there is 2.9 feet higher. Nothing. See where
That's life treating me.
Yeah, I think like Norm Peterson said, like
we found the pipe there as well.
it's like I'm wearing it's a dog eat dog world, and I'm wearing milk
there was
bone
not a
underwear.
drop of water. And it was 2.9.
Remember who Norm Peterson is?
It's also
Cheers.
daylight elevation of water. So I have no idea if that pipe is connected to this pipe. And if that is connected to this pipe, I have no idea where it's going, because there is not a place on this lot other than the other side of the driveway that could daylight into a gravity flow of water out. It's trapped.
Is there, so where it daylights, is it just a daylight? Does it pop? Is it a pop on the end of it, or is it just
We
drain?
have found,
Oh, I thought you said you found the daylight.
we found a dry well down here, but there are no pipes going into it that we found yet. The water in the dry well is the same elevation as the invert of that pipe up there.
That's what's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So wait, let me make sure that I'm clear with what you've been saying. So this is our foundation drain. You haven't found that here.
No, yeah, it's there. It's underneath his foot.
It's underneath his foot. And what you're saying is it goes out here somewhere, but we don't know where.
And shows it going out there, but we have no idea if it made it there.
What's that right,
Right.
there? That right there?
That is a dry well that we found because there was some water on the surface right there, but we don't know.
Is it open? Is there?
And-
Can you run a camera? Can you run a camera? If you see where it goes.
This water was up to here, and which is lower than it would have to be to flow down that ditch. The water, when it was at this level right here, was exactly, I mean, I'm talking within a half an inch of the invert of that upper pipe. And down here is 2'9" lower, 2.9 feet lower. My question would be is how daylight, because there's no place on this lot that would allow you that kind of slope to get daylight.
We're at 2 feet.
Is Cliff coming, or is he?
We're at 2.9 feet lower here than
I'm
over
trying to figure
there.
out. You know,
Then that one right
They
there where
got
he's
the-
digging.
whoever installed this,
All right. But from the upper one,
and that's
Same level.
and he was going to try to
those
get all
two
of
are the same level.
into this
No.
mess, to have somebody come out and say
The furthest hole up
yes, it's over.
is the same elevation as what the water level here is.
Okay.
Down here, 2.9 feet lower than
So this pipe, this pipe takes a U-shape.
yeah, but same pipe. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Garth.
Garth. Garth, here's the thing, and I'm just being, I want to figure this out as much as anybody else,
Uh-huh.
but that pipe is a perforated pipe.
Right.
Okay, and so if the pipe up above is 2.9 feet higher
Right.
than this perforated pipe, and there wasn't a drop of water in this lower pipe, but I had water in the upper pipe, perched water at the invert of the pipe that was exact same elevation as the perched water right there, why isn't there any water down in that lower pipe
And that is a drop.
if it's connected?
That makes, yeah, no sense.
No,
That
I
pipe
know.
that we were seeing down there, is that just the downspout pipe, or is it? No, we don't know right now. That's part of it.
Okay.
Are you sure this pipe isn't this pipe?
This pipe came off of that downspout right there, and it goes right here, and it just, I didn't chase it out.
Even if it backflows, you'd still expect there to be water in the lower
Exactly,
section.
exactly.
Do we have the ability to TV or camera the lines?
Yeah, that's what I'm just.
Well, we'd have to cut it.
It makes a challenge.
We'd have to cut it and put the cameras in it.
That's what.
Because I haven't found it here yet. I could dig more here and try to find it. If it's here, the plans show the foundation drain turning out here
Right.
into and it said there's a blue line that says foundation drainage system termination point on the plan.
Okay.
And there's two of them. There's one supposed to be here, or actually it's a little further out, but I don't know if this is because
This looks like it's clearly that downspout drain, no?
no, this is the downspout drain here.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah, that is. What else?
That just goes that way.
What else are you pointing to?
Well, this is a dry well.
Yeah, but what's ties into it?
Yeah, but what's feeding the water to this dry well?
Yes.
See, that's a wrapped rock dry well. And there should be a pipe coming in here, and we haven't found it yet. I think I'm going to dig more to try to find it.
Dig inside it?
No.
We've got this guy here, which hooks up to that drain, and then you've got your foundation drain. That's separate.
It's kind of weird too, right? Right, Doug?
What's that?
They don't. The one you encountered right here doesn't seem to communicate with the one up.
Right.
Yeah, there's no.
It can't, or there'd be, if it's a perforated pipe,
So it's still
a mystery.
strange.
Well, the pipe
Yeah.
that we saw up there, is that a main or is that a
It's a foundation. Then
that's a foundation? There's not a is there another one for this downspout?
No,
A third one?
no, it just runs out onto the ground.
So this downspout actually is going to be here.
No,
That's about-
But I know, but that's it.
yeah, that's it.
So
The
is there a
contractor
pipe
doesn't
like
seem to
that
know
tied
either.
to that downspout?
can't remember.
Well, we
It's
can find out quite a bit when we put the camera inside that line. Well, maybe, because that probably just goes here, and then there's still a lot of unknowns that we don't have, but we can camera that one as well. Camera will go a ways.
It does. This structure was it?
It's been here ever since I got here.
Right, but it wasn't here when they bought it, I believe.
I have no knowledge of that.
So I don't know if they changed the pattern of the water flow.
According to Gretchen, she did this rock ditch.
Well, there was some kind of,
Yeah, I don't know.
Drainage thing,
You'd have
but-
to talk to Gretchen. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Looks like the water has gone down. That's it.
Yeah, it's drawn down a bunch.
It's interesting that we have a drainage sock on that corner, but I don't see much going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. That what you see is what I saw.
This is what we have. Yeah.
What we have.
Side, where's the water?
All in this area under the garage.
Here? Is
You
it,
want to go? Let's go look at it.
well, I'm just trying to see outside before I go to see where, if it's surface water, it's got to be coming from the roof or here on the sewer, correct? If it's groundwater, that's a different issue. But if it's surface, it's got to be coming from top.
Probably a combination of both.
Yeah, but
Right.
so I'm just saying, there's no downspouts. Potentially, if it's coming there, you could add a downspout or something to get rid of it. Like there's a green
Here we go.
The slope, I don't know if it's, the slope could be, it sounds like it may have been modified, but whatever. If there's a slope issue, that's another thing to get it away. So I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
if it's surface, let's look at the surface. It doesn't, to me, it seems like it should be migrating away.
Up until still snowdrift right here. When I first got here, that snowdrift was up,
Okay.
which probably several thousand gallons of water in that snowdrift.
Which,
And
again, that's,
so at the risk of telling you guys what you already know, we got a drain tube or rain gutter right there that needs to be drained away, and especially up here. But
and it had, when I got here, it had a spout on it. I took it off to put it somewhere else where I thought it was more.
yeah.
There hasn't been any water running off of that since the snow melted.
But anyway, to summarize what you guys are saying, which I believe is accurate, we got two sources of water here. One's roof water, the other is snow water.
Yeah.
And to take care of what we're going to call the snow water, and which includes the groundwater coming from that hillside, we could do a perforated pipe drainage curtain in here and capture that water, run it anywhere out there. And that takes care of the groundwater issues.
It's a tad more complicated than that, Garth. You want me to show you why?
And then the other would be these guys. Yes.
Come here and I'll show you. I've been told, Brian, you could probably tell me if this is an old wives' tale or not. But
just real quick. Go ahead.
Isn't it illegal to dump stormwater from one lot property owner to another lot?
You're supposed to contain.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what's going on here. There is a, from where that for sale sign up there is, you've got snow drainage, it comes down here, all of it. There was a freaking river running right through here, right down here, down the rock pathway. Okay, now come down here. How this developer got this development approved without stormwater back there is.
So what is the,
Part of it, but I mean, once it hits the road, then it's a little bit of a different issue. I mean, that's the, because I have a client up in Powder Mountain where it's coming down the road and then it comes on their property.
We got movies of all this, this water. When it was running here.
Watch your neck here.
Watch this.
I've had several people run into this.
oh really, yeah.
I see this. There's two of them. Another one.
Well, at least we all know a good lawyer, right? Uh-huh.
There is no place. This house is built in a hole.
Uh-huh.
There is no place for this water to get out of this property that's coming in from all these lots. It goes across the driveway onto the next lot below, and then out onto the street.
Right.
So to say that you can divert this and get it's hot, this is lower than the street.
Yeah, so there's a couple of potential answers to that. 1980, we had deep groundwater issues, and most of the neighbors were just pumping into the street gutter, and so that was the answer that they gave at the time. Another is that if you can cause that gravity drain out to here, and I don't know where the property line is,
Right here.
okay,
And that white stake up there.
okay. So as long as we stay within our property line and we cause the drain to happen, basically a French drain type French, and gravity drain into the soil and become somebody else's groundwater problem.
There's a natural draw, I think, diagonally this way. Doug, did you see where the water went after when it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
the driveway? To the
Yeah,
next
come on, I'll
yard?
show you. That ditch was underneath this one.
Next question.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, the water came, there's no, best I can tell, there's no culvert under here. So the water there was a river about 8 feet wide.
I remember.
And it hit this. And then went into that culvert
Right now.
and jumped out on
Anyway,
Yeah, the world is so
but I am pretty positive that there is some kind of thing under here, and I probably at some point find pictures, but I'm pretty sure that there was something under here. Okay, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
well, we have one here.
Yeah. I don't, if there is, it didn't work.
But you think she did this?
Well, Gretchen told me that she did a lot of this landscaping out here, put the rock ditch in. I just remember saying that. I don't think she did it. I think she had it done.
Yeah, I'm not, when I say that, just generally.
But I heard hard to believe that people got here. Apparently, these people got really irritated because they felt like the Funk's groundwater was going onto their property. So they spent a bunch of money digging this swale right here to get all water on their part. They did a bunch of grading in the back. But as we watched the snow melt this spring, they had a freaking river running down their driveway. It wasn't coming from this property. It was coming from up there.
And then, but so what I hear, those collects, and they don't have a problem collecting here and going out, right?
They don't seem to.
Was that pre-existing, or do you know? Or
No.
did they built that? I assume the other property owners built that.
So, I mean, I can elaborate more on the whole property dispute here, because I was involved and we had to still take care of this ditch here. This landscaper did it. Their property, if you went to their actual approved landscape plan, they didn't do what they were supposed to.
Right,
They didn't do what they were supposed to. We appeased and appeased and appeased. That does go out to that way. There was a natural drainage.
But did you build?
I didn't build
The
that,
other,
no.
they built that.
I believe so.
Or was it part of the
It
stormwater
might have been.
retention
I don't
plan for
remember.
the subdivision?
I don't think I did it. You know, I think it was part of the
Is it
original.
an HOA that controls some of this?
I think it was the developer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should have been the developer.
Yeah, but there wasn't any of this there. There was just, as far as I can remember, that was kind of there. And you can see the property line is that stake right there, pretty much.
The middle of the
Yeah,
down there.
right to the middle of it. And so they weren't supposed to have. They actually, it could be. You could actually say the opposite, right there. Water is flowing into this property down that hill, and they weren't supposed to be where they're supposed to be. They weren't supposed to have those trees there. I mean, they didn't follow their own plan, and the HOA decided to not enforce that one. And so if you go back to where all the culvert's supposed to be, it's supposed to be from them. But
See, I can't imagine. This is just me thinking, trying to put all this together. That's good clarification. I can't imagine that'd be part of the stormwater plan for the subdivision because it's precisely where our driveway is. I would presume that they put that in because that's where their driveway was going to go. When this thing was developed, no one would have known that was, that's my assumption. But if you come down here,
To the lowest part. You can't go uphill.
well, there used to be there usually runs to the condo. So we connect that was there. We didn't. I don't remember being able to take that.
Clarify for me, if you would, what role you'd like me to take here.
Just kind of observing, just for now, observing, asking questions to a certain extent. I mean, the email kind of said we're not even supposed to be talking to him, but he's the one that's volunteering everything.
Right.
And if it helps you, I'm wearing a police body cam. I can get you the video later if that's helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing is we can kind of see these different locations. What we're talking. Is it audio too?
Yes.
So everything we're saying. Supposed to take water off of your lots unless that's part of the.
So yeah, I can either just not use it or delete it or send it to you.
I don't make any rules.
Try to get our hands on those plans. They're not available.
Who's?
When you
The
were
developer's plans.
when you were here, the water was draining off here. flowing.
Draining?
You could have, and then it hits the road,
inner tube and floated.
and then it just follows the road until the next lowest place.
There's a catch basin right down there. You can barely see the top of it. It picked up some of it, and it was going so fast that the rest of it just went over the top. Went down to the next one.
Because that's becomes is once it hits the road, then it's a whole different animal. Because
Then it's stormwater.
yeah, then it's the subdivision, and then it drops off into somebody else's. And that's a whole
You stand right here. if you stand right here and you look at the floor elevation of that home, there's no place on that home that you can get to the street gravity feeding that water unless you come across this lawn. There's no way to do it. Yeah, I think so, because there's catch basins.
Anybody before getting to the lower level, if it's running off the mountain, that whole thing, that whole water wall, that wasn't there from us. Not that one, the one that goes around the back of the house. They changed all that, so you could say that they changed the flow of the water.
Yeah, that would post-date you then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, that,
They raised the whole thing up, the whole what they did in the that.
well, that sounds like good news for you.
First, engineers said there's no reason to dig up the floors in the back half of the house, and they decided to do it anyway. Jared built his house too. Jared built that house too for his sister. He's built a ton of houses.
It's interesting he says that there was a big, because it didn't come from this direction.
Yeah, it comes down that way.
So that question is, if you build here, how do you get it?
Yeah, that's going to take a deal of drainage control to build something on this lot.
That's why this lot wasn't sold.
Is the developer still around?
Yeah.
Still, this developer still around?
Yep.
That's probably one of the lost.
Okay, there was a pretty good amount of ponding water here 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, there was a big pond right there. It was probably 3 feet deep.
I can't see. Is there an outlet on the back?
Only after you get to where that for sale sign is up there on the road.
Top, but I mean down here.
No,
down on
well, about where that for sale sign is, it does the same thing it does here. It divides.
yeah, but from here, is there an outlet behind that house?
No, it all flows this way.
Because it kind of looks like it's a little bit of a ravine, but I can't tell if it goes down lower that way.
It's not. From that white sign post, everything flows down to here. Foundation drainage system for plant, and they went around and they one day down here, and one was supposed to dig around there.
Just on this side, we found hit up there buried, that one spot.
Yeah, we found it buried here too.
Okay, so and
We
two
just
locations.
haven't found where they daylight.
Yeah, so you found the two spot, you find it coming point one hole, and you found it in the second hole, but we haven't found where it comes out.
And keep in
And
mind,
the height, the difference, I understand the slope.
the first hole is this. The second hole is 2.9 feet lower. And the water elevation out here in the dry well was exactly the invert elevation of this pipe. And there was no water in this pipe.
In the pipe itself, how do you know there wasn't no water in the pipe itself?
Because it's a perforated pipe. It'd be leaking water everywhere.
So it's not like, because this one's not perforated.
Yes, it all should
Come
be.
off, I'll come off the drain, it's perforated
Yeah,
all the way?
yeah, I think so.
I'd
have to cut the fabric.
Got the sock on it, which
Yeah.
would indicate it's good.
Yeah.
Because usually lots of, they have it a ways and then it perforates after, but so you don't have it perforate right at the bottom, kind of defeats the purpose of the
Yeah.
pipe.
So is it perforated, the pipe is perforated all around or just in the top?
No, it's you get rid of it. It's at the collect. I don't. So I'm showing the bottom as well, right?
Yeah,
I have a pipe
So it as it goes. That's why normally you'd have it. So for that, that's why for the pipe, for a downspout, you're trying to get rid of it. That's why I go
Perforation all the way around.
well, but then why would you take a whole pipe?
probably never get anywhere.
It's basically allowing allowing it to get in so that there's no hydrostatic pressure building up. You can, I mean, if I'm wrong, you can tell me.
it's just a conduit for the
Exactly.
groundwater. It's an easy path for the groundwater to get.
Water will follow the path of least
Flow into
resistance.
that pipe and
So even on the bottom, is it 100% or partly or half or three quarters?
usually they're all the way around.
Yeah,
If you get the white PVC pipe, usually recommend putting the perforations down actually. Because you got the water doesn't build up so high in the pipe. Just builds up a little bit inside the pipe.
so I think the next place we're gonna start digging is out here. What we found here.
Is there flooding on this side?
Well,
If there's no flooding and there's no water, is there a reason why they are digging?
well, you find out if there's a foundation drain in according to what the plan calls for. Because if the foundation drain's not there and it's not working properly, eventually it could be a problem.
So it's
Right. So, come over here. That's the way we found it. We dug all this back here, so we didn't damage that.
So why are we dig more over there?
Doesn't that look like it's been hooked with a backhoe and ripped apart?
So whether there's a dead.
What we tried to find was if we dug that way to see if we could find the other end of it that got ripped apart, and we can't find it. This is supposed to run all the way out there in daylight, gravity daylight, so that there's a place for water to go. Per the plan. We found it here. We found it there, and it's all. I mean, we're very convinced that this is the same pipe.
It's about the same depth, so it's
Yeah.
filling back up.
Yep. Well, it's slept in.
Yeah. It's not like it's not this high up here and drops down. And
So, the other thing, somebody said, well, what's the purpose of having a foundation drain if there's no water? Well, from the edge of that mow string all the way to the house, that was about a 9-foot deep drift right there. It was bigger than the one that the rock. And I was absolutely
did it go around the corner? How far around? So it goes up, and so you think it starts?
I think it starts over there at the corner of the garage and runs it's the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to go from the corner of the garage this way and from the corner of the garage that way.
But not as a straight line. Go underneath the garage, underneath the
Right along the bed of the foot.
and Is there a footing underneath the porch, or how far?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it's all the way down. That's
Yep.
not a surface. It's a footing all the way deep.
Right. So, with all of that knowledge, if this is what I just can't understand where. I just can't understand where that. See, once again, that is so deep. On this lot, unless you go underneath the driveway, dump it into the pit. I don't know. It was, yeah, but it wasn't easy to shovel. They use a pick to loosen it, and they threw it in the wheelbarrow. We pulled off 4 trailer loads.
So you are, that was one of my questions.
Well, we're just going to use this gravel up,
Much gravel.
and then we'll probably bring in the lighter gravel. But see, here's the situation we had throughout the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the existing gravel that you're going to use, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're going to reuse this gravel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are new or existing, or all these?
That's a we think that's the radon system. Not positive.
Most likely. Just the way it's
That would make sense.
placed.
Yeah, so it went right in. You can hear the radon fan running in there. So I'm
See the perforations here. It's extend
all the way around.
Okay. Is that the same stuff that's up?
I think it's the same stuff.
Because it seemed like the other one was more.
6 foot bigger.
But
6
it seems like
inches.
it had a wrapping.
It has a silk that is a silk sock to keep the silk from filling it up. This doesn't need that because it's just transforming air to the radon evacuation.
And just for this reasoning, this is going up is,
You're doing it in pieces, right?
but it's just because of the voids under the
Well, let me
concrete, or what kind of?
I can pull up pictures on my phone if we need to. When we sawed up this floor slab, there were places where the concrete fell 12 inches before it hit the gravel. It was a hell of a mess because the saw kept getting bound up when the slabs would fall.
Yeah,
And so when we had this all sawed, we had a chunk out here that was 4 foot right here. I got a picture of it, some movies of it. But from the bottom of the slab to the gravel was 12 inches.
And again, I'm just trying to understand, the reason that is because of the gap underneath the slab. There wasn't other.
So there's something here that's really important, I think, and I talked to Eric about this.
Okay.
The contours in the settlement of the gravel, the contours of the gravel, when we removed the gravel, the same contours were in the subgrade. In other words, where the deepest settlements had taken place in the gravel, you remove the gravel, those same settlements were in the subgrade. So Alan Spilker, who's the soils engineer, there's no doubt in his mind that the settlement all took place in the subgrade. Maybe a little bit in the gravel, but the majority, to get 12 inches of settlement out of 30 inches or 18 inches of gravel is impossible. So it had to happen in the subgrade.
But that was the issue, is just getting rid of the voids. There's not other drainage or anything of that. It's just.
But I thought when we bore holes, there was no void, and the scan only showed areas of like a half an inch or an inch of void. So how did we get 12 inches of void?
Well, you're dealing with a sonar scanner going through a slab. They detected something in there, but I'm here to tell you.
Inches?
Oh yeah, I mean look at this one over here. That's exactly the way we found that right there. That's a different footing supporting a load-bearing wall. Those are all over the place. This gravel was put on frozen ground and snow. The snow melted, the subgrade went down, the gravel went down. That kind of mess. That's okay. Yeah. I had the guys leave this part right here just the way we found it. See that? See the distance from the slab down to that gravel? When we took the slab out, that's how much of a hole was under there. And I got it all on movies. I mean, it's pictures, movies, the whole shebang. I can bring popcorn. Okay, and so just this gravel was down there.
So yeah, it's suspended slab.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and just for simplification, all of what is going on through there, in my mind, is all because of that suspended slab issue, settlement in the soils. That's what all of this, and then, other than that, then we have the water issue. So I'm just trying to make sure.
Water issues in the back.
Okay, so all of this is just the suspended slab. I'll just use that for lack of a better and easier term. This is all suspended slab issues.
Subsidence of.
Yeah, whatever it is, the slab ultimately becomes suspended for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, see this, if you look at, this is a second thickened footing here. And you can see all the way through to the second footing, there's nothing under it.
And so the issue, just refill it in, put it in the gravel.
Yeah, we gotta get, Alan is not happy with the moisture, even though this doesn't have water in it, the moisture content in the soil is greater than what he would like to see in order to start pounding it down and getting this stuff recompacted. So he was supposed to make it up here today. I haven't seen him yet.
What kind of testing did you do? Did you do is it just gut
Same
feel
thing you did.
with the probe?
Yeah, that blew our mind. When these guys came through and made the pass with the saw, this whole thing dropped a foot. It just disappeared. And we just went, what in the hell? Okay. You see, this is our foam that's holding up all these interior walls and footings. You can see.
When was the foam done?
Probably was slab removal, right? I mean, before the slab.
Yeah, we did that before we removed the slab.
So that was to reinforce all the foam, and that's all done. And
Yeah.
it seems to have held.
Yeah, with the exception of one spot I can show you, it held really well. We had them come back up and inspect it after we got the slab out. So we come back here. This sewer line here has a 20-inch valley in it. In other words, it's going downhill, and then it goes uphill, and then it goes downhill.
So where's is it in an area that can be flattened?
Well, I think the majority of the sewer line is gonna have to be redone. I'll show you some other problems. See this? We got sewer lines that are poured in the concrete. That's a no-no. That sewer line could be gravel. This is a sewer line that's coming from the other side. It's in the concrete, not in the gravel. We got a 3-inch belly back here. My opinion is that this footing right here is our dam. This footing that goes right through here is our dam that's keeping the water from this part of the house to that part of the house. That pipe that I showed you out the window,
The upper
upper hole. The invert of that pipe is the same elevation as the bottom of this footing. Except it's right on. It's right where it should be per plant.
So the footing does come out and do it out.
Now if you come back here, before we started sawing up the concrete, I'll just give you guys a little, I'll kind of relive this. This was a concrete floor. We came down here and there was water on top of the floor. I thought, holy shit, we got a leak in here. And the water was coming out from underneath this wood plate. And I got pictures of it. It was about like yay. It was probably about this deep. So we tore it, and this is before we did any saw cutting or slab removal. So we exposed all this. This was all really wet. This was all really wet all the way to the top. And we saw cut the floor. We pulled the floor out, and we noticed the water was perched right where that black magic marker line is right there. That's how deep the water was in here. Okay, and so we dug a hole, we put the pump in there, and over the course of about 2 weeks, we pumped out over 2,000 gallons of water in here at 2.1 gallons per minute.
So water, could you see water flowing or is it just wet?
Just wet, just wet.
So obviously if you're pulling that kind of pulling it.
Well, see, if you come over here, we dug these little test pits right here, so that we could, I mean, this, at one point in time, this didn't have any water in it, but we could see water coming under there, so we dug a hole here, so that we could kind of see where the water was coming from. It's coming under, before it was coming through here, that's since dried up, now it's still coming in under the footing.
So what's above me? What's
Garage.
So this is all inside the back corner.
Mm-hmm.
So the garage goes, is this the garage or is the garage to that?
No, front goes this way.
This is a suspended slab. Okay. We finally got one. So what is on the other side of this wall? Is that outside?
That's the outside, yeah.
So, and then, so the porch is over here?
No.
This is the entrance to the garage right here.
You drive in here, okay, so then you can drive in. When we were outside, you were saying, the slope of the ground and all, that's right there.
Okay, so this is that, okay, now I was thinking, I put myself to the other corner. I was thinking, drive into the garage this way. Okay, so the other slopes, sloping off there.
So this would be a backyard right here, side over here, and this is the garage.
Yeah. So where we sit right now is the, soils engineer suggested, you know, even regardless of what we end up doing outside and what that all turns into as far as a battle, a fight, and groundwater versus surface water, all that kind of stuff. The thing to do right now is spend $5,000, $6,000, to put in an interior drainage system and put a sump over in this corner before we put everything back.
And that's, I mean, it's just more than this than this.
There's something causing that water to come in there. I like it. You're probably a better guy to talk to than I am.
Yeah, it's groundwater. Is there a utility roof for that sump somewhere?
No, what we're gonna do probably is put it in the corner. Yeah, just a floor hatch, and then we're gonna go into this wall and daylight out and dump into that rock ditch out there. Since we can't dump it in the sewer.
Well, you can't, it's still public.
Well, that's why I'm dumping it right now.
So now extra water to go to the plant, get it up, and make it. The dilute the really bad stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Again, so this
You're a soils engineer then?
suspended slab issue a little bit, but mainly water in this part.
Yeah, the slab moved around a little bit in here when we saw cut it. It dropped maybe an inch and a half. But it wasn't anything like what you're seeing over here.
So principally water here with a little suspended slab.
Yeah.
Okay.
That stuff's hard to control. But I think the guys with Rhino Foundations did a pretty decent job of doing what we needed to do with that foam.
So there is some, that water or that plastic? What is that? Is that the shank? That's a piece of plastic. I see, is that shiny?
It's on the light. There's a light.
Oh, there is some lighted water.
This has always been pretty damp in here, but I've never noticed.
You're right.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of water.
Yep.
That's new. That's new. That's new water. Never seen that before.
When did they pull the subgrade out?
Last 2 days.
Tubular after that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's never been there before.
What was the purpose of the foam again?
To hold up the walls.
Okay.
So we didn't have to demo all the walls, particularly the load-bearing ones.
Which ones?
It varies. These would be, let's see what the thick and footings. That's the other thing, Garth. All the thick and footings that we've cut through, no rebar. There's supposed to be 3 number 4 rebars in them, no rebar.
Oops.
Now, our structural engineer says no biggie, that she can take care of strengthening the slab that we're going to pour back, thickening it, putting some longitudinal bars in there. So she's not concerned about it. So. No exterior foundation insulation.
I don't know anything about it, but I don't know if that was coded until recently.
No, it's on the plan.
On the plan?
So, which is,
No exterior foundation insulation anywhere. It's called for on the plan on the exterior stem wall.
But if I remember right, the gravel in that, I guess, west room showed a pretty good dip that we might be able to show them describing what you
It's all been dug out.
has all been done up.
But it's the same. I got pictures of it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when the floor slab was still hanging there. There was 9 in that room. There was 9 inches. And then when we dug the gravel out, the subgrade had the same contours as the gravel did. The subgrade's what set up. When we had the sewer line scope, they showed a 3-inch valley in the sewer line from here to here, from here to here. There's a Y that goes that direction. Now that we've been able to expose the sewer line, we've confirmed that it's not a 3-inch valley, it's a 2-inch valley. Yeah. So here's another, this is where I would have expected to see water, and we haven't seen any.
this is where the
Driveway going up. Now,
I'm getting ahead of myself when I got.
see, here's another, here's our foam. There's our foam, there's our foam. That's what that looked like when we exposed it. Look at that.
Is this the for the foam?
That's an injection port for the foam.
Not typical new rebar. And that's again grade on, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, I'm pretty certain. So over here, this was the deepest settlement right here, and it was this elevation right here. And the gravel had about a 2-inch settlement here, and then it went down, and then back up. And when we dug out the gravel, the subgrade was the exact same contour, just 12 inches deeper.
So has it been it's been recompacted, or did you?
Not yet, just exposed.
But you've taken out that contour.
Yeah.
Now, if you brought it up,
You can almost kind of see it right there.
so is it brought? Have you cut down to where the bottom was, or have you?
We cut down to what Alan Spilker told us. He said take 6 to 8 inches out on average. I want to re-inspect it to see if we can get some of the moisture content lowered so that we can start compacting.
6 to 8 from the lowest part, 6 to 8 from the highest part.
It was 6 to 8 on a median.
Okay. So some places it may have been 6 inches, some may have been 2
3
inches.
or 4, yeah, exactly. So here's something that's really, really telling, guys. This settlement all occurred while this house was under construction. That is the top of your foundation wall, right where my finger is. This has been, the floor was poured, it settled, and then they chipped out the top of this foundation wall to match the settlement of the floor before they painted the wall, and that's why there's paint all over this chipped out piece of concrete. This was settling during construction. The other thing that is evidence of that is if you take a laser and set it around and you take a shot of the ceilings are within a quarter of an inch. They're level. Everything from the ground floor up is level, but if you measure from the ceiling to here, you got 2 inches more of wall here than you do out there, and this ceiling is the same elevation. That means that when they framed these walls, they were framing these walls on floors that had already settled. Now, was there potential for greater settlement later? Absolutely. Yeah. By virtue of seeing the voids.
Yeah, but didn't they start framing like a week after?
I have no idea, but I'm telling you, there's no other explanation for that being chipped down unless they poured the floor so out of level that they decided to chip the top of the foundation off to match the floor. That doesn't make sense. Now, the other thing, this area right here, this floor and this floor, is 2 inches, 2.5 on this side, 2 on this side, lower than the foundation wall, which is supposed to be floor level. Isn't it interesting that the sewer line right here, where the floor is 2 inches lower, the sewer line is also 2 inches lower? Again, evidence of settlement during construction.
Didn't they come back and didn't that compound extend all the way to that wall?
Did what?
The compound here, didn't they extend that all the way to?
Yeah, there was a little bit of compound over there, but not very, you can see it. It's only about a quarter of an inch thick.
Oh,
See it right here?
I see.
See it right here? It wasn't very thick. But the further you went that way, it was 1.5 inches thick.
They didn't inject on this little footing.
So they did, but it did, that's the one place it didn't do what it was supposed to. And the Rhino guys basically said, do you remember the voids that were, I mean, the foam went into the ground, but then it traveled, it was clear out to here in a layer that was just on top of the gravel because the void was so massive.
So what's the plan there? That's not bearing though, right?
No.
No.
And if we have to reframe this wall, we will. It's not load bearing.
So it's not. Big deal on that.
I don't know. I could be completely up in the night, guys. I don't know. I've been in this business for a lot of years and I haven't ever quite seen anything like this. But
They're great questions. They just figure out.
this thickened footing, per the plan, that thickened footing is supposed to extend clear out to here. It does not. It goes to about here.
Why would it need to come out here?
I don't know. That's just telling you what the plan shows.
Oh, okay, I just,
The plan has it dimensioned at 8 feet. It'll come 8 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That thickened footing is supposed to be to there, per plan.
yeah. But you understand, is there a okay. I can see it here. I don't know that I necessarily see it, okay.
Just tell me what the plan shows.
And that's fine,
And you can see our foam. This is a load bearing wall here. This one is not. This is a load bearing wall here and here. No footing, no rebar found. No rebar found. There's like none. And these footings are not even close to the width that they should be per plan. But Cambria said, at this point, I'm not concerned about that because we can deal with it in the new slab that we pour. So. Here's more evidence. Here's more evidence of settlement during construction. This wall, this floor is supposed to be the same height as that. It's 1.5 inches lower right here. Wall paint on the foundation after the floor was poured and after everything was poured, that tells me that you can see the wall, the paint lines right here, and the floor settled before they painted. Otherwise, there wouldn't be paint right there. If the floor settled after it was painted, then that would be raw concrete right there.
and they did that after the float, after they floated it with, to try to level it out as well.
Yeah, I don't know how much, it doesn't look like there's any leveling here, but I'll tell you that, and what was your other guy's name? The structural engineer or the insurance guy? Cosper? Steve. Steve Cosper, his laser and my laser were roughly 3 inches different. I don't know how to explain that, but this is right here. This has got a little bit of leveling compound on it, not a lot. But right in here, believe it or not, this floor right here is 3 inches lower than the top of that wall. This is a shear wall.
Without the,
Even with the leveling compound. So this is a shear wall that's probably got OSB board on it, and then the drywall. I think that's what's holding it up, because you can stick your fingers all the way under there. You can feel the bottom plate of the shear wall is not even in contact with the floor.
So did they put foam under this to jack it?
Yeah.
And did it jack at all, or did
We didn't jack anything. The foam was simply to stabilize the gravel.
Okay.
We were very careful to not destroy the house, because that foam will destroy the house.
It's rigid, it
Yeah.
goes all the way through.
So we got under here with a light. There's supposed to be anchor bolts every 32 inches. We didn't find any. There's no anchor bolts holding this shear wall to the thickened slab.
How does that pass inspection?
Don't ask me.
Is that not an inspection issue?
Or it should be before the drywall goes on the wall. Yeah. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. For a contractor building this house to know this kind of shit was happening while they were building it is just phenomenal to me.
Just thinking of the picture of that.
In my opinion, license should be different. But 'cause I've never seen work like this.
I assume because this is state property, we don't have the issues of survey.
Don't have any, there's no tracking.
Limited to one thing, which is bad enough, but at least it's limited to.
I have been absolutely,
He's built 15 homes in here.
well, if they're all like this, then people are gonna have a lot of problems.
He built for the developer. That's how I found him.
You're seeing what I'm seeing.
But I also, I mean, I don't know anything, so.
Well, I've been in the business for 40 years. And I have seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen anything quite like this.
Pass the inspection.
Yeah.
You know, I called Wasatch County Inspector Quinn Davis, and I said, Quinn, what do you guys typically, you typically inspect for foundation insulation? Yeah, typically, only if we're asked to. I said, well, if a plan shows that there's foundation insulation on the plan, shouldn't there be foundation? Oh, absolutely. And I says, do you guys inspect for footings? He says, oh yeah, we inspect for footings. And he pulled up his log. Well, one of the footing inspections here failed. You know why?
No.
Because it was frozen ground. They apparently thought it out because he came back and re-inspected it.
Right?
But if these guys were willing to pour a footing on frozen ground, what makes you think they were willing to pour a floor on unfrozen ground? There's no inspection for floor.
You asked him about this inspection for the anchor thing you just mentioned?
No. But typically, it's part of the framing inspection. They will usually check all the anchor bolts, the nailing patterns, what else? Hold downs, tie downs, seismic. They'll usually inspect all that stuff at four-way or just before four-way.
Right.
So,
How does it pass?
but you know what they do? We don't have any, you know, they'll look at it, inspect it, and if they see it, but they will never be held liable for deficiencies.
In essence,
Yeah. The county will never be held accountable for that.
seems odd.
That's the world we live in, bud.
I mean, if they're supposed to inspect for something that's not there and they pass it, who else would it fall to? I don't understand. I'm just looking at you.
He's
Are you an engineer?
He's a soils engineer.
I thought you were an attorney.
I don't know, Guard. What would you say?
Who does it fall to? That sounds like a question for a lawyer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were a lawyer.
That's okay. I've been called worse.
Right, I don't know about that. I just figured when I heard you say you're representing, I thought,
Well, I probably didn't see that. Working on behalf of that.
You see, the structural engineer did not want us cutting any more of that concrete away, because that's a thickened footing, and we wanted to save the fireplace. So we put injection ports clear out here and angled them down. I think there were 6 of them in here. There's one of the holes right there. So those injection ports went down that way to pick up that thickened footing underneath that load-bearing wall. And honestly, I'm blown away. We don't have a crack down here. After all of this Swiss cheese of the floor, and there's not a crack anywhere. And when I went back and checked everything on the ceiling level with my laser, it's freaking spot on.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Same upstairs, right?
Same up, no cracks upstairs. There's one crack over in this corner that Gretchen pointed out. Cambria, our structural engineer, and myself, and Duff Johnson, the contractor, kind of all looked at it and said, yeah, it's typical. You know, you're gonna have a crack here and there, but that's the only crack in the whole house.
Duff, he's the contractor.
Yeah. Yeah, rack construction.
Anything else?
So was Alan gonna come up and buy off on the bottom?
Well, he's not going to look at it. I hope he's going to buy off on it, but that's up to him.
So he was supposed to be here today, is that right?
Yeah, 10:30 this morning.
Oh,
What did he tell me? He says my day went to hell.
who's that?
Alan Spelker with GSH.
Sign up on this.
Yeah, because that's the whole idea. We're trying to do this as economical as, because, you know, we first started thinking, well, let's just haul the gravel out. We said, no, let's not do that. Let's put it all on one side of the room and do half at a time. That way we don't have to haul all this shit out of the house and haul it all back in. But this 6 inches of soil that he had to take out was wet enough. He says, lose it, get rid of it. And so we'll end up putting this gravel back over the top of this once it's acceptable. And then whatever we have to import, we'll just bring in. So we're trying really hard to minimize the cost impact. But it's
Did he recommend a separation fabric between the gravel and the
no idea.
It's just
But he is
gravel.
recommending a geotech fabric between this gravel and the top 4 inches of finer gravel.
Sure.
But
So he doesn't want to go just top to bottom with this size material. He wants to put the finer, coarse.
Yep.
You guys gonna vibrate it?
well, I don't want anything aggressive in here because of the condition that we're in. So we're thinking a vibratory sled in 4-inch lifts. Put the gravel in 4-inch, run the vibratory over.
Bigger stuff, and then the smaller stuff that one last one. Not doing further compaction, so that it's.
Well, I told Alan, I said, Alan, I'm nervous about getting something in here that's aggressive because, you know, it vibrates all the ground.
And you'd think, I mean, how old is the home now?
3,
You'd
4.
think it's gotten to its final resting place.
Yeah.
That amount of time. And if there's moisture, it's going to get there sooner, as long as there's not continued moisture. Now that the moisture's.
Well, and even if there's continued moisture, if you can, it's just like, because I asked him the same question. I said, Alan, are you concerned at all about the bearing capacity of that soil back there where we've got all the water? He's not at all. He said, it hasn't gone anywhere by now, it's not going anywhere. And I said, well, then the load of the house is much greater than the load of the slab. So, you know, I understand getting moisture content out because when moisture leaves, it rinse. But I think the majority of the sediment that took place in the subgrade took place, some of it took place even during construction and since then. That's my view on it.
Obviously, it had to have been after the concrete was poured, or else. But you went out to oil. So there had to have been something after that.
And you know, what initially started all this was a little thin piece of concrete slab out here in the middle of this great room that was only about that thick. The concrete was that thick, and then the topping slab was about that thick. And so that started. What? Our floor is only ½ inch thick. We got problems? Well, let's core a few holes. Core a hole in the core, go right through the hole. Well, that shouldn't happen.
Not what happened back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the original question was, is it 4 inches all over the place? And you can see it's all 6 inches.
Good grief, we ran into 9. Back in that room under the garage, the floor was 9 inches thick. And it wasn't thick and footing or anything. I'm just going, man, somebody bought a bunch of extra concrete.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's kind of where we were, just to get a quick little update.
You guys are welcome here anytime.
What's the plan moving forward? Are you gonna get this spot off, take this gravel, flop it here, and then excavate, and stockpile what's in that area?
We'll surcharge this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it'll end up being, is a surcharge on this side. What we'll do is, if we get the green light, we'll take a fluorescent paint and we'll paint that dirt right there, so that when we do fill this back up, this will end up being in a hole. We'll have an orange line that said this is where we went to before. And so that pile of gravel will then be over here.
Same thing do here.
Three or four,
Right.
three sections.
Yeah, this big room we'll probably do in 3 sections. The bathrooms we're gonna try to do in 2.
And you'll just use this to level out everywhere you can, and then bring in the smaller.
Yeah, I'm grateful that Alan thinks that this stuff's perfect to use for the subgrade. He says there's nothing wrong with this ground. He says you just gotta make sure you vibrate it in nice.
And will you dowel into the existing?
The dowel, we're gonna dowel into these every 18 inches, I think. There's a number 4 dowel. And then the floor gets thickened right there. And the Cambria actually wants the thickened floor to go kind of underneath this.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this will be very, very strong when it's all done. And there'll be 24 inches on center in the field, 18 inches on center for the dowels. Is what that's my recollection.
When it came out, and there's no reinforcement in the slab, right?
Oh.
But you're going to reinforce it.
Well, I think we have to because of what we've done to it. I think that's how she feels about it, is we've made Swiss cheese out of it, so let's make it better than Swiss cheese.
Well, and again, if you're reinforcing, then it's even less of an issue. So, right.
It's like we want all of it. She wants all of it tied together.
I'm not. Yeah, but if he's going to do a field of rebar,
Yeah.
then then you can have a suspended slab.
Theoretically, it would be better. Yeah.
Very little.
And what I told Bob, Bob says, well, they're making an issue out of the rebar. I said, for hell's sakes, the amount of rebar is 24 inches on center in this entire house might amount to $2,000. It's not, as far as a big ticket item, it's not very big. And I think it's like good insurance. That's my opinion.
Are those repair details written down?
Mhm. Yeah, Cambria did a report and then amended the report, and she basically has, Cambria's with Canyon Engineering.
Okay, I saw a letter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cliff, well, the prior attorney had it all, which should have gone to Cliff.
I got some, maybe I got all of it. Look.
No, I from a constructor's standpoint, I looked at Cambria's proposal and I thought, yeah, this makes sense. And she does not want to tie the slab to the stem wall. She says, we don't want to ever tie a slab to a stem wall, it should just float. And I agree with her on that too. But as far as all these interior, since these were all poured integral footings to slab, she wants to tie the new slab to the old slab with all the rebar.
So in this situation, we got the slab over the top this time around. But it's not like that around the whole perimeter, right?
There is only a door block out.
So just
You'll see that condition at the door block. That's so you can pour your floor slab to the outside edge.
so you won't be doweling into that stuff.
No, but we will be doweling into that slab. Yeah, so you can see under every door. The lockout's not fully there, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Like I said, I've been just watching. I've been watching all the drywall, just going, when are we going to start seeing cracks? Haven't seen one yet.
So when was the phone put in, how long ago was that? About 3 weeks ago.
It took them about a week to foam it, took them 2 weeks to pull all the concrete out with 5 guys. And then we've been working about a week and a half on pulling gravel out and exposing subgrade. So I'll tell you, I have never seen guys who work as hard as these guys we got in here. It's unreal. I don't know how they do it. I'd be good for about an hour.
Not my kind of work.
Sounds good.
Somebody said that the excavator and Michael said the excavator and the concrete guy was gonna be here today. Should be. Goldstone was here last week. He took a bunch of pictures.
Who was?
Goldstone, the concrete guys.
So they placed all the concrete.
Well, I don't know. The guy that came out wasn't a high up guy. He looked like a foreman to me. And he just took a lot of pictures, and he made the comment that he said that when this was done, we were really busy, so we subbed it out. That's what he said. I have no idea if that's true, false, or otherwise.
Because that's a lot of these things. It's nice to have the people here that did it, so they can explain it. So yeah, we did this because, and you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or we did it because, and you go, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, the whole idea is just get it fixed. That's all I just want to get it fixed. I'm tired of it.
so what's the time frame you think it'll be done
Depends on how that soil dries out.
on the front or the back?
Both.
Because this, I mean, to me, I'm not the expert, but
I don't
That-
know. Eric, what do you think? You're a,
It still feels pretty spongy to me.
yeah. Okay.
but if you're putting in with rebar on that slab, turn that more structural, does that still got you?
I'd still want a nice solid subgrade.
So how do we do that?
Well, I'd prefer a vibrated plate, but I understand your concern.
I'm okay with I just don't want a jumping jack.
Jumping jack or
Yeah.
a vibrated plate. I'd put a plate on it. I mean, I'd better tighten it up. You gotta talk to Alan, but I think
Yeah.
I would tighten it up. But the moisture's the key. If it's high, it's not gonna tighten up no matter what you do.
Right, right. And the more you work on it, the more it's going to
Yeah,
pump.
again,
So what about driving some big cobble down there?
yeah, absolutely. Do it all the time.
Kind of the stuff that's in the ditch there.
Yeah, we take track out rock and cram it in there.
Will a vibratory plate push that down into that?
Probably not. You're gonna have to take it something.
See, and that's where I'm just like, I don't want to start shaking this house.
But with that much gravel, you got a lot of gravel on top of that too, so.
And a lot of gravel the first time.
What do you think about our surcharge concept?
How long is it gonna sit there? It sits there for 5 years with and then the surcharge work, but I don't know you're gonna let it sit there that long. It helps a little bit,
Yeah,
doesn't hurt, I'll put
I
that.
don't know, I just, what I've done in the past, up in Wyoming, on a project, we had wet clay soil, and we threw lime in it. And we kind of agitated it, and that lime sucked that moisture out, and then we ran the compactor over it, and we got a compaction.
That's a good idea too. Those are all good ideas. The ones that I like are bringing in heavier equipment. I know which is an issue, but pushing rock into the subgrade.
I just don't want to I just don't want to compromise the integrity of this house.
I get that.
That's actually been something that's kept me awake at night, is thinking, holy crap, we've Swiss cheesed this floor. We're banking on this foam doing the job that they claim it's doing, and it appears to be working. But then you go in there with a bunch of vibratory equipment and start, it gives me the creeps.
So maybe it's Alan saying just wait till it dries out, or
I don't know, he's not here yet.
Is there, anything you can do to dry it out quicker, fans, or open it up, or
Leave these doors and windows open and let it,
all that helps.
exposing it. I mean, if it's sitting underneath that gravel, it's never gonna dry out. So exposing it is huge. But
Yeah, I think once you get to the back end of the garage, that's gonna be a real challenge. Those clays don't wanna give up that moisture.
No.
But you want a solid, Alan's right, you gotta have a solid bottom to build off of, or you're wasting your time.
Well, sounds good. Appreciate it. Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
It's good to see you
all right,
again.
good to see you.
Well,
If I could grow a beard like yours, I'd grow one.
if I could grow hair like you, I'd try to get it back, but it won't come back. That's the problem. I can do just fine here, but up there, it won't come.
Good to see you
It won't
again.
stick. So I was gonna try to get one of those creative films, try to grow it out and then flop it back up over the top. Yeah, and you fill it over. There you go. Instead of doing the part here and throw it over.
Tell me your name. Jason, that's right. Jason.
Okay.
Sorry we're all in this, but it is what it is. Time to get it fixed.
Sounds good. Well, appreciate it. Thanks.
See you guys.
Take care.
Yeah.